Hey, welcome back to the podcast. So today we are doing a market report for the Reno-Sparks area for resale homes. And today we have a special guest. Her name's Neetha.
Hi everyone, good.
Neetha works for Haute Properties. We're in the same brokerage and she's one of the top agents. So we are collaborating today, bringing her in. She does a lot. She does a lot of work in South Reno, a lot of buyers, and we're impressed by her. So we're bringing her in and going on with the market report. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you so much.
How long you been in real estate and what are your specialties?
Thank you so much for the introduction, Ken. It is my pleasure. It's my first podcast this way, but otherwise usually I just shoot on my iPhone.
Yep.
But thanks for the opportunity. Happy to be here. I've just celebrated my 5 years anniversary this year.
Great.
So it's been 5 years. It's 5 successful years. Crazy markets. Loving it.
Great. And what's your specialty? If you say
So mostly residential.
Residential.
Mostly residential. Real
Buyers
estate.
or sellers? What would you say that most of your
So I started as a buyer agent,
okay?
but slowly turning to be a seller agent. I mean, the last 4 quarters mostly selling side.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to talk about the market. We're going to ping pong back and forth about January's numbers. So we're in February, but the numbers are always coming in at the end of January. We're going to talk about the Reno-Sparks market, median home prices, and go through the market. And then she hasn't seen this. This is the secret thing that we always do to go over our guests.
Okay.
A little quiz at the end to see how well she's paying attention to the market. All right, you ready?
Ready.
All right,
Ken.
so resale homes, no condos. This is and no new home builds. This is mostly resale homes, Reno-Sparks, Washington County.
Basher County. Okay.
So median sale price is down. It's but $569, $975.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing a lot of sellers cutting down the price right now. That's the market trend.
Yeah, so it's still up year over year, though. That's the most important part. Is if you would have bought a house a year ago, you're getting about a 6.5%, 7% return. But it's down month over month, what you expect in the months, about 6% from December. So 570. Keep in mind that the height is for the median home price in the Reno-Sparks area is 519. So what about closed sales?
Closed sales I'm seeing as 306, so it's up by 19.5%. So that's
Year over year.
Really great year over year.
Yeah, so that means that we only have about less than 250, about 250 last year this time. So that's a surprising number because the market feels a little slower than that.
It feels slow, but Reno is growing, Ken.
Right, and then what about how much is it down since December?
Since December.
Yeah, right there.
So that's down 13.8%.
Okay, so drops, but typically we see a very slow time in January and February, and then spring weather comes and we're ramping up. So
yes.
that's an important reason. If you're thinking about listing your house, is to talk to one of us about it now, so you're all ready to go when that comes around. So
that's a great point, Ken. I mean, I go to a lot of seller appointments, and trust me, they want to sell, but they're not prepared. So it is really essential that you take time right now and then call one of us, and we are happy to just walk around the house and tell you what to do so you are ready for spring.
right, so don't wait.
Don't
A
wait.
lot of people procrastinate, and then it's a big bummer. And then all the people that we have that are not so busy right now are really busy 2 or 3 months out. So
True, very true.
median days to contract. So this is a really good indication of the health of the market. We're sitting at 39 days. So what this means is that if you put a house on the market, it's going to sit for almost 40 days.
Almost 40 days, and I'm actually even seeing 30, 60 days on some of the homes, Ken.
Yes, so if you look at the history of it, 40 to 60 to 75 days is normal. We're not used to that here, but 5-10 years ago, pretty normal.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming off those markets where the mindset is we're going to sell the home in the weekend, right?
Right.
And so for the mindset to change, that you have to be really patient to sell homes right now to 30, 60, 90 days, depending on the home.
And sellers get nervous.
Yes.
So that's another reason that you should be pricing your house correctly, right?
Yeah.
Don't go off what comps were 2 or 3 years ago. So it's up about 22% since last year and down 25%. So we were seeing, I think, at 59 days last month. So, but this is very typical also of the time of year, like we talked. Just want to quickly thank you for coming in and checking out our YouTube channel today. So we're going to remind you what our channel is all about. We help people like you live, buy, sell, and invest in the Reno-Sparks Tahoe area. Also, we want to give you some options to join our ecosystem. If you take a look at the comment section below, we have books that you can download for free, buyers and sellers guides. We also have a bi-weekly newsletter as well as a blog that you can sign up so you get all of our information as we release it. Otherwise, continue to like our channel, subscribe, and we look forward to servicing you soon. Thanks. So we're going to skip list price received. What about median sold price?
So per square feet, the report
square
says, yep, per square foot, the report says $314, and it's up 7.4%.
Okay, and that's it. Like we've talked about before. It's
Yep.
if you're out and about and you kind of just need to get a little gauge on what a house is worth, it's a good 3 to 350 is a good number to put against it.
Yep.
So if you're out there and you're a buyer and maybe you don't have an agent, so that's a good just to kind of feel if it's in the ballpark.
Yep, something for you to justimate.
Yeah. Okay, and then new listings. So new listings are a little over 400. So in January, 409 listings came on the market, up almost 25% from a year ago. So
That's amazing.
that's amazing. We think it's slow now. A year ago it was really slow, and then up. Is that right? It can't be up 76%.
Well, I feel it. I mean, that's a big number. 76.3% is a big number, but
We'll
I
have to
feel
look
it. There's
back.
just a lot more inventory for sure, though.
New listings though. You think it's up
Yeah.
76? Well, I have to check that number. I'm not saying that the MLS is wrong, but that number just feels so. There was only 200 listings, new listings last month, approximately. All right, so 409. So not a lot of houses coming on the market, and like I said, that's has to do with higher interest rates, and it has a lot to do with it's been cold. The weather hasn't been bad. I guess we're getting a big storm here, but so I expect that number to come up quite a bit as we get into the springtime.
Yeah, big strong Thursday, but I do have a feeling that we'll get a lot more supply this spring.
Okay, great. So don't get disappointed. And we have a lot of buyers out there disappointed because there's just not a lot on the market. So what about active inventory? So these are the houses that were currently on the market.
So 742, that's up by 25.3%. It's a lot more inventory.
Yeah, so we're
How
really
many
feeling.
choices?
Yeah, so and everyone's comparing years, but so this 24 and 24 and 2025 has been better than 2023.
Correct.
So
Yep.
I think people are getting adjusted to the rates. So
Yes.
a lot of people, when the rates kind of spiked up about 12 months ago, everyone's like, oh, they're going to come down. But I think everyone's kind of realizing that rates are normalizing and we should be at 7% or 6%. That's what a normal market looks like, not 3.
Not 3. I mean, 3 was just cherry on the cake, but I think most of my buyers also are in the market looking. It's just been a little bit slow on them making decisions, but definitely feel like they're used to that 6 to 7% rates now. So
right, and then we'll end out with month's supply of inventory. So that's simply if we divide by the sales by the number of houses that are on the market, we would run out of inventory in 2.4 months if no more houses on the market. So keep in mind that we say this a lot. A balanced market is between 4 and 6 months where buyers and sellers are equal. So we're still, believe it or not, with high interest rates and all the stuff going on, and high prices, we're still in a seller's market for the most part, believe it or not.
I mean, yes, month supply of inventory 2.4, it feels like that. What Ken is saying, traditionally, I guess it's good, but in my 5 years, this is how the supply has been.
Right. It's for 5 years. Yes, that's true. But no, I mean, a few years ago, it was like, 0.1, 0.2, half. So we're actually up quite a bit. We're up about 5% from a year ago. So it's a little bit more inventory for sellers. So anything else to add about the market?
Well, overall, what I'm seeing, Ken, I mean, we're still doing the transactions.
Right.
People are still coming into town. I mean, just with true experiences of who my clients are, right? That's what I'm seeing. They're still relocating.
Right.
People are still looking. And like I said, actually, the trend has changed a little bit that I'm actually seeing more sellers than compared to buyers right now. So that's what I'm seeing personally.
All right, great. All right, so now the secret list.
Okay, I'm ready.
So she hasn't seen this list, but we're always doing a segment at the end to help people. Today we're going to help buyers because we work with a lot of buyers.
Okay.
And according to AI, in 2025, what are the top 5 strategies agents are using to help their clients secure lower interest rates on mortgages? So I'll give you the top number 1.
Okay.
And then you're going to tell me what that means and how it works. Got
Okay.
it? So number 1 they have listed is temporary rate buydowns. So what is a temporary rate buydown? How does it work if you're a buyer?
So temporary rate buydowns, if you have a great lender, they'll educate you on, it's basically a percentage or a cost that the buyer pays so they can buy down the rate. And most of the time in my transactions, we usually get a seller credit to get the temporary buydowns, and there are many ways to do it. There are 3-2-1s, 2-1, 1 permanent buydown, or a temporary buydown. So I think you definitely need to get educated on what that is.
All right, so let's go ahead. Let's talk about it. What is a temporary buy down? So let's just say, what's the standard one? 2-to-1, 3-to-1 buy down?
Well, 3-2-1 were popular. I think right now permanent buy downs are more popular than the temporary ones.
All right, so what is a temporary buy down? What does that mean?
So, for example, say right now the current interest rates are say at 7%, and you can pay a little bit. Either mostly the seller pays for it, and then you can buy say a point down. So instead of 7, now you got it to 6. So you're buying down 1 point, and then depending on that, you can again choose: do you want it just for a year, or 2 years,
right,
or 3 years? So it's a percentage of the credit that goes towards getting your rate down.
So year 1 would be at 6.
Year 2 could be 5.
6, or yeah, so it'd be like 5.5, 6, 6.5.
Yes.
And it keeps going up. So the first year you get a 5.5 great, which is great. Year 2 is 6.5, and it's all structured depending on how much money you want to pay.
Correct.
So you can get lower rates, but it costs a lot more money.
Yes.
And then after the 3rd year, and it goes back to the normal rate, which is 7, correct?
Correct.
So it's temporary.
It is temporary. I ideally would say that you want to make sure that you can actually make the payment at 7, for sure, before you actually jump into a big mortgage.
Right.
But this kind of helps you ease into getting into those payments and understanding how the payments are going to work. So it's been a great strategy, and it has worked for a lot of buyers.
Great. And not all sellers offer it, but sometimes if they've been sitting on the market for 70, 80 days, they may be willing to put that money towards it. Now, what's a permanent buy down?
So a permanent buy down is a great one. It's my favorite. So if in this, you don't have to speculate on what your payments are going to be after a year or 2. You permanently buy it down. So most of the builders are doing that right now, which is working great. They're actually offering 4.99% permanent buy down. So that means don't have to worry about 7. You're actually getting a payment at 4.99%
for 30 years.
At 30 years, yes.
Okay. So you pay 1%, maybe a little bit more, maybe 2%, whatever it is, whatever's allowed under your loan limits.
Yes.
And you get a permanent number.
Correct.
And you're not guessing in the future. Now, I've had several clients who bought temporary ones, and they're coming up to readjust. So keep that in mind. We all thought interest rates are going to come down. They may not.
Yeah, I mean, then
So we don't know.
2024, those were the predictions that the rates would come down, but it didn't happen. So that's why I say permanent buy downs are my favorite. Temporary, not so much, but they've just been popular.
Yep. So, all right, so that's number 1. Number 2, negotiating with lenders. So we're encouraging clients to negotiate mortgage rates and obtain multiple quotes from different lenders.
Well, that's always been true, right? I mean, it's the biggest decision, biggest transaction in your life. So I would always say, anything in real estate or anything otherwise too, always take 3 quotes. That's just been the saying, and that's very, very true, because unless you at least take 3 quotes, you really don't know what the final number is going to be. And every lender has different programs, right? So it's great to see which lender is offering what program and what might be better for you. So definitely take those 3 quotes for everything. Even if you want to clean your carpets, right? Take 3 quotes, I would say.
I love it. Tough negotiator. I'm liking it. So that's good. So that's number 2. Number 3. So we have 3. Strengthening mortgage applications. So improving your credit, improving your debt to income. What are some other things when you're improving? Obviously, the higher credit score, the better rate. So,
Correct. Personally, what I think is things always change. I mean, credit is always there. You have to save money for the down payment. That's always there. But the one thing that actually is helping a lot of people that I see is being in touch with the lender. If you are thinking about buying a home in a couple of years, I would say have that lender in place that has a true experience and is working in your best interest, and they can guide you through that credit scores. Like, hey, open this credit card, close this account. Here's what you need to do, your debt to income, and it takes like 6 months, 1 year, 2 years sometimes.
yep.
Because I work with a couple of lenders and they're actually following up with my client for me. They're calling and making sure that they paid off their loan and now they are ready.
Get rid of debt too.
Yes. So, it is a journey and things change all the time. The top ones, like you said, is the credit and saving and lowering your debt. But I say that having a lender right next to you who's educated and experienced will really, really help you.
And we talk about this a lot. She's new to our podcast, but have a good team.
Yes.
That's a lender is and we have a lender on here quite a bit. Elena, someone like Elena can help you a lot, save you a lot of money, get you a better interest rate, and make it more affordable. So, but that's part of having a good team. That's why you work with the good realtors, because we know all the good people.
Yes, we
All
have
right.
great contacts. Yes.
So we're exploring strategies to help clients secure lower mortgage rates. We're moving into number 4.
Okay.
So the first 3 are great. Exploring alternative loan terms, such as 15-year, 30-year. Do you see any ARMs? Have you done any ARMs?
Actually, yes.
Okay, what is an ARM? Because it's not your arm.
So it's adjustable rate mortgages, right?
Yep.
Okay. So ARM loans.
Can be good and bad, but
Right. So again, I'm not a big fan of ARM loans because again, you don't know what your payment is going to look like because they are adjustable, like the word says, adjustable. But I've had a success recently where I've seen clients take an ARM loan, get a really low interest rate at like 5.64% for 3 years fixed ARM.
okay.
And then the 4th year it changes. So, but instead of 7, they just felt like that's better to go on an ARM for 3 years, which was still fixed. But traditionally, ARM loans can fluctuate. So you don't know what your payment is going to be at the end of the day, depending on what the.
But it's
interest
fixed
rate
per
is
year,
going to
right? For 3 years, it's fixed at that number, and then it
That
can adjust
particular
up.
program was fixed for 3
Okay.
years. But
And then
again,
5 year, if you do 3 year, it's probably cheaper, and then 5 years more expensive than 7s.
7 and then there's 10 also,
Okay.
I think. So there's like different programs. But that actually worked for a couple of buyers recently. So that's been
But you just have to know yourself, because I don't know if you were around in 2008, 9, 10.
Yes, I was around.
A lot of people got in big trouble with ARMs. They were just taking, oh yeah, we're going to get a 3 year ARM, and then all of a sudden their property value plunged.
Yes.
They couldn't refinance, and the rates ticking up. So,
Yes.
And then they lose their house. So as long as you're responsible and know what you're doing, I would say that, man, it's been a couple years since I've had people with the ARMs, but
Yeah, no, I feel like they've come back. In between, I did not hear about ARMs at all, but in the last
because rates
quarter
are so
they
low.
have,
Yeah, rates are so low, but now rates are 7 and stubbornly 7.
And so most of the lenders are actually being creative and offering those products more in the last quarter. So definitely something to look at, but like you said, you do want to be educated and know what
Responsible.
exactly.
And then what's the difference between a 30 and 15 year?
Usually your mortgage rates are low.
More
Right.
on a 15 year, but your payment's a lot higher.
Yeah, a lot higher on the payments, but I love 15 years if you can do it because your interest rate is lower, and then the overall interest that you pay also, because you're only paying for 15 years, you actually pay much less in interest overall. So if you can do 15, it's actually better.
But it doubles your payment. I mean, it's a huge payment, especially when you're already dealing with a $4,000 a month payment, and you're getting 15. But you can afford it. The other thing you can do too is get a 30 year and just make double payments.
Make double payments. That's a smart way to do it. Like I said, if you are financially savvy, if you look at your numbers every single month, if you're budgeting, you're talking to your spouse, you're all in the same team.
Yes.
Which I don't see a lot, but there's few families who
This is
do
true.
it. And then, the suggestion that you're making is actually great if you can do it. So.
Okay. The other thing is we have a lot of clients who make one additional payment every year, and that cuts your mortgage by 7 years. If you make one additional payment at the end of the year.
That's a great tip, Ken.
So.
I mean, we just have to reiterate that I do reiterate that with every single client as soon as we close that, hey, just that one payment, and I kind of send a reminder at the end of the year too. So that's a great tip.
You can cut 7 years off the mortgage.
Yeah.
So that's why you tune in this channel. So we're at the final one. You're doing great. We're doing, what are the top ways agents are recommending their buyers get lower rates? And we're in tip number 5.
The top ways, right now what's working for me is getting those seller credits. Asking for the seller credits, because the way the market is right now, we are only seeing motivated sellers.
Right.
And so we are able to get a seller credit to buy down that rate. So that's the number one thing that's actually working right now is the seller credits, asking for seller credits.
And you're right on. You didn't even see it. It's agents are
Yes.
recommending that buyers buy mortgage points to lower their interest rate.
Okay,
So
great.
they're an upfront cost. The one thing about that, she hit it right on the head. I didn't even tell her. She just went right into it. Be careful with that strategy, because I've had some clients buy down their interest rate, spend a lot of money, because it's if you're buying it depends on what your mortgage is, but it's usually 1 or 2% of your mortgage, so not your purchase price. So if you buy a $700,000 house and your mortgage is $500,000, you're going to be paying $5,000 to $10,000 to buy down your rate. But the biggest mistake I see people make is they move in 2 years, 3 years.
Oh yeah, and then they lose it.
So
So
if you're going to be long term, 7 to 10 years, it makes sense. But if you're thinking that maybe this house is just a temporary 2 to 3 year thing, really think about not doing it.
correct. I mean, yes, that's again an education that if you work with us, we will tell you upfront on what's the best strategy that works for you and the best lender and the best program that might work for you. Because it's different for every person.
Yeah,
so that's a great point you make, Ken.
Make sure you know your circumstance. So, you did awesome.
Oh, thank you so much.
Anything else you want to add, or you coming back on?
Oh, I would love to come back on.
I think that we might do an open house together. She has a listing coming kind of in my area that I'm interested in, and maybe a joint
open house
with the drone, and we'll get it going.
All right, let's do that, Ken.
You guys can come out and meet us and see what we have to offer. So, all right. So, what's the best way? Tell them your Instagram handle, your phone number. What's the best way to reach you?
So it's Neetha Gorla Real Estate. Just my name. That's my brand. Just me, my face here. My number is 775-225-9754.
Yeah. So call her, get some information, and you guys, if you don't know how to reach us by now, there's a problem. But comment below if you like our video. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We're almost to 500 and we're almost to 500,000 views. So we're going to have a big party when that happens. So. All right, guys, you guys enjoy. Stay safe out there. And we'll look forward to talking next time.
Thank you so much.